Well, let us know how it goes. And at the end, let me know how you felt about me introducing everybody, because this is new. You like that, Wade and Laura? Cool. Okay, because it's kind of nice to get to know the people in the room when it's not too many. Okay, all of that said, I'm going to get started. So my first question for all of you, give me a thumbs up if you have already soaked your pad thai noodles. It was there in the mise en place, but sometimes people miss it. Is there anybody who did not soak your noodles yet?
I do have a question about it, though.
Yeah, ask me.
Like when you get the package, it says, what I think I understand is that people flip-flop their recommendation on how to prepare the pad thai noodles. So for some people, they use boiling water. For some people, it's cold water. For some people, it's lukewarm. And I'm curious, it might depend on the noodle too. I have no idea, but like, what's the best approach to go about soaking it?
I do just cold tap water and for like 4 or 5 hours, even overnight. And Elise might talk to you about, she used to work for a Thai restaurant in the UK and they soaked their noodles overnight. It's really until they get pliable. So I'm going to show you mine now. I actually soaked them at home earlier this afternoon. Like I put them into soak around 1 o'clock. We're very dry in Alberta, so the rice noodles are very dry. And while we're talking about them, I'm just going to drain them off now in readiness to go in. So they should be, they're not going to cook for very long in the sauce. So you want them nice and pliable when they go into it. This is preserved radish. If you don't have it, I wish you could smell it. It's got kind of a funky fermented smell. Keep it in your pantry. It doesn't need to go in your fridge. It's daikon radish is what it is. It's been salted and dried. So I'm gonna actually just wash mine. If you were to taste it now, it's very salty. And I'm just taking a handful. I actually usually use a little bit more than it says in the recipe. So I'm just gonna get it into the water, give it a little wash, and then squeeze it out with my hand. And that's the first little bit of prep I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to do one other little bit of prep. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to chop that with you in a minute. But the other thing I'm going to do is make tamarind water, which is a little bit of prep that I need to get done. So you can buy tamarind water. I personally have never found a tamarind water that I like. So if you don't have your kettle on for making your tamarind water, just quickly pop your kettle on and pull out your tamarind paste. If you have a pre-made commercial tamarind water, that is totally fine, use that. You just take a little bit of it and you take it off the block like so. You don't need too much. You can make more and freeze it if you want to, or you just take a little bit and you pour some hot water, like some water that's been in your kettle over it.
So Catherine, I've just Googled, and it's a popular alternative to a tamarind is to use lime juice with equal parts brown sugar. So you've kind of got that sweet and that sour. So you could mix just like a tablespoon of lime juice with a tablespoon of brown sugar.
Thanks, Elise. There you go, Sherry. Do that. Do that. Do that. So we're all going to do a little bit of prep together here for our pad thai, starting with this preserved radish. So I'm just going to slice it and rough chop it. If you try a little bit of it, it's very salty. It's a texture and a saltiness. I'm probably using more than you'll use. I really like preserved radish, and I like having that little bit of fermented flavor. It adds a complexity. And food is all about layers of flavor, and it's about textures. So this is a texture I'm adding to my pad thai by going in with my preserved radish. So I'm just rough chopping it, guys. Here we go. There it is, just rough chopped. So the other thing that you would always see in Bangkok in a pad thai is tofu. So I'm going to use pressed tofu. If you don't have the tofu, don't worry about it. If you're vegetarian, just use more tofu. Here it is. Marissa, who does my shopping, went to Lucky 97. So there's different brands of this. You actually don't need the whole package. The thing about pressed tofu, it's firmer than firm tofu. It's great for stir frying because it doesn't fall apart. So I'm just going to use, I don't know, this is kind of divided into squares. I'm going to use 2 or 3 squares of tofu in here, maybe 3. And then what you want to do with the tofu is just dice it up a little bit. So you want everything in kind of nice little small pieces. So I'm going to do little small batons of tofu, and then I'm going to cut them in half widthwise, like so. Like so. You guys can see me. And then I'm going to do a little dice of those, like so. Okay, I'll probably just, I don't know, I might do 2 squares of tofu this time. I'll do it differently. I'll cut it down that way and then cut it into the little strips and then my dice, like so. Just a different couple of different ways you can cut it. And honestly, that's enough tofu for me. So I'm just gonna sit this out but I would like to just get the idea across to you guys that you don't have to exactly follow this recipe. If you love the preserved radish, add a touch more. If you hate tofu, do less. If you love it, add more. This is something you can be a little flexible with, depending on what you like. Next thing I gotta do, I've got some peanuts. I'm gonna dry roast my peanuts in a moment. So to do that, I'm gonna get a dry pan and I'm just gonna turn it on and heat it up a little bit.
Yeah. Is the cilantro for?
Oh, you can garnish with cilantro. It's totally a garnish, which I totally forgot. I always forget something at the end. So a few leaves of cilantro. You can even stir it in right at the end, but like now, right before you eat it, because you want it kind of fresh in there. So if you love cilantro, stir some in. If you just want a hint of it, use it as a garnish, guys, okay? My cilantro here is looking a bit sad and wilted.
Awesome. Okay. Well, if no one has any more questions, we're going to leave you with your pad thai. Have a wonderful Friday night. Huge thank you for joining us. Huge thank you for Catherine for a fabulous class. Yeah, feel free to tag us in any photographs of your fabulous pad thai. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, and we hope to see you again in the class real soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy your dinner.